In Israel, as you just heard about, there is a lot going on in the north, but also when you look at what is going on with the border with Gaza, significant ground operations are expected soon. That is according to sources who are looking at what you're looking at right now, Israeli troops amassing at the Gaza border. But the IDF says this will only happen when they see Palestinian civilians out of the area. An IDF spokesperson tells CNN that they are seeing a strong flow of people leaving northern Gaza following Friday's urgent warning to evacuate. Joining me now is Eyal Hulata, who is the former Israeli National Security Advisor and former head of Israeli National Security Council. Thank you so much. It's an honor to have you here. First, I want to talk about what the Israeli President Isaac Herzog told CNN about the idea of establishing a humanitarian zone. What does that look like? How realistic is that?
So first, we need to understand the goal of the government. I think the president was very clear in explaining that Israel has set a goal that when this war is over, Hamas is no longer in control of Gaza. Israel is not at war with the Palestinians, not at war with the Gazans. They are at war with Hamas. And in order to be able to do this, we need the civilians to get out of the war zone. For that, of course, this is why we gave this urgent message to tell them to leave. By the way we evacuated our war zone, we evacuated Sderot this morning. It's a town of 30,000 people, and we'll evacuate more and more and more. Israel understands, of course, that when the civilians evacuate to the south, they need basic humanitarian conditions to live their lives. And as President Herzog explained, this is very important. Israel will do its share in that. But of course, this cannot be Israel's responsibility, right? I mean, Hamas opened this war. We did not get an advance warning for our people to leave all of the communities around Gaza. The Hamas came in and slaughtered them. I don't remember we getting any advance warning, but in any case,
Israel is not, you're not terrorists.
Of course, because Israel does not act this way. And this is why we have, and throughout these days, you know, there are, of course, already, unfortunately, civilian casualties in Gaza. Most of them are human shields because Hamas put them there. Hamas also claims that hostages of Israel have been killed by U.S. raids because they're using our hostages as human shields. But Israel does not play it this way. Israel plays by the code. And there are codes in war, even in such dreadful circumstances. We called for the civilian population to evacuate where we need to operate.
Okay, but the reality is, and you know this far better than I, that it's very difficult for the civilians in Gaza to evacuate. They're being told to go to the south of Gaza, but then they can't get out. And so the question is, and this is because of Israel, but it's also because of Egypt. So my question for you, given your experience inside the Israeli government dealing with not a situation like this, but dealing with the Egyptians, let's just take them for example. The U.S. Secretary of State was in Egypt and in other Arab countries. How crucial is it for Egypt to allow these innocent Palestinian civilians to cross over into their land?
Right. So first, it's difficult for those people to go to the south because Hamas is blocking them. Let's first put the blame on who takes most of the blame. It's not in Hamas' interest for the people to leave their houses. They want them there as human shields. But I agree, and this has been discussed throughout these days, and Secretary Blinken, as reported, was in Egypt for this cause. Look, I mean, this cannot only be Israel's problem. The Arab countries around us, our old friends and our new friends, need to step up for this. If they care so much about the humanitarian situation of the Palestinians in Gaza, they need to do something about it. They need to, of course, they need to open the crossing and temporarily allow the Gazans to go there and get whatever they need. Israel does not have an intention to conquer Gaza. We do not have an intention to control Gaza again. We left in 2005. We left to the last inch, to the last grave of our people that we took out of Gaza. This is not in Israel's intention. The Egyptians has a lot to do to assist the situation, especially when they claim that they feel so much for the population.
I do not want to lose sight of the hostages who are in Israel, both mostly Israeli, but also American citizens.
Yeah. And other nationals.
And other nationals, thank you. I don't expect you to tell me what intelligence that Israel does have, but you have a lot of experience in intelligence. What are the chances that Israel actually knows where they are right now?
So Israel embarked on an immense operation of collection for this. You know, we start in a very bad starting point because clearly we were in the dark. Mm-hmm. We didn't see this coming. We didn't see the preparations. So it's not like we knew in advance where Hamas intend to put those. And you know, it's very unfortunate, but Hamas already said, as I said before, that some of them has been killed because they use them as human shields. So of course, from Washington, I don't know what their situation and how many of them are still alive. But Israel has an obligation to release all of the hostages. And I think the international community should have an obligation to release all of the hostages. Hamas shouldn't have taken them in the first place.
Well, you said Israel has an obligation to release. You mean to rescue?
Yes.
Hamas has an obligation to release
Hamas
them.
needs, of course, yes.
Yeah.
Israel has an obligation to rescue them, of course. Hamas needs to release them immediately. Hamas shouldn't have taken them, right? It should have been trivial that Hamas would give, I mean, they're kids, they're children, they're babies, grandmothers in wheelchairs among those.
Yeah.
Why are they still there? It's such an humanitarian disaster, and the international community needs to demand this from Hamas, not because Israel needs to give something in return. They need to release them.
Eyal Hulata, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I really